If you are a mile wide and an inch deep, you'll achieve nothing because you'll be too many things to too many people. Focus on one thing, do it well, and you'll achieve a result.
Oh, I'd love to, but I can't. I'd love to start a business, but I'm not ready. I'd love to do that, but I don't have enough money. I got kids, whatever it is. Work through those limiting beliefs.
There's not too much out there that somebody else hasn't thought of. If you've got an idea and it's a great idea and 3 years have gone by, forget it. I can guarantee that there's many people that have got the same thing happening. Where your energy goes, everything else flows. If you're in a negative energy mindset, you're going to be negative and everything around you will seem like doom and gloom. Change that, everything changes.
Time to get fired up. Yeah, I'm getting fired up.
Your thoughts can become plans. Plans can become actions. And actions become a reality. We share powerful stories and simple steps to fast track your business and personal growth. Are you ready to make it happen? Let's get fired up. Welcome back. We are still here. This is the final episode with Ralph. And if you haven't done so already, go check the previous two, because the sharing and knowledge and experience that's coming from this guy is truly amazing. So thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. We're about to get into this episode on a topic. I mean, I love all of it, but I particularly like this one because it means so much to me from when I went through a life challenge and a life transition. Everything seemed impossible until I focused on mindset first. So I had to kind of reset what I was listening to, who I was talking to, who I was socializing with, what I was reading, what I was consuming, how my behavior kind of worked through my day, because everything after I started to get that mindset in check, things started to get better slowly over time. So I want to talk to you, Ralph, and there's some things I took from your book which relate to mindset and growth. And I love the sayings that you've got in there, but one of them was like fishing in the right pond. Tell us what that means.
Well, sometimes a lot of people put effort into an area where there's no return, meaning that there's been many people before them that have gone and created something and they've come in afterwards and there's nothing left. So, fishing in the right pond is basically be ahead of the curve. Get ahead of the game, be a leader, not a follower, because it's like somebody that's going out there and creating a social media platform today. It's been done 1 million times already, so you're going to be left behind. So it's important to understand where it is that you want to go and where it is that you need to focus your energy on. If you are a mile wide and an inch deep, you'll achieve nothing because you'll be too many things to too many people. Focus on one thing, do it well, and you'll achieve a result.
With the just that social media example, because I mean, the big, who was first? MySpace, right? I don't know if anyone remembers that, but there was a MySpace. Then Facebook comes out and just dominates and takes over. And it's like, cool, no one's going to be able to get on top of that. But then Instagram comes out. And then now there's TikTok and stuff. And like Facebook is moving into different areas because the whole social media interaction, content consuming, that's not their main field anymore. In fact, they're losing users whilst TikTok's taken over the world. So is it fair to say that when looking for something, it's just because it's been done doesn't mean you can't do it better? But do you mean by fishing in the right pond, do the research, make sure you're in the right area with the right people, that type of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. When it comes to self-doubt and personal negative self-belief, negative limitations, I hear this all the time. It's not always from those poor me people. It sometimes can be the most active and vocal person in the room, but they quickly go, oh, I'd love to, but I can't. I'd love to start a business, but I'm not ready. I'd love to do that, but I don't have enough money. Whatever it is, I got kids, whatever it is. How do you kind of help people through your process, talking programs and whatever, or what's a methodology to kind of work through those limiting beliefs and self-doubt?
I think it's just breaking down the challenges. What are the challenges? Why do you believe that you can't start a business now? And list them all down and then go, okay, let's start with the first one. And you go, okay, well, what? And then by the time you finish, they go, oh, yeah, okay, I probably, can do that. And then you just go through it. Most people get overwhelmed. What it is, they look at the bigger picture and they go, whoa, that's too big. But the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step at a time.
Yeah.
And it's only until you turn around and have a look how far you've come, you know where you are then. So it's the overwhelm. Most people are overwhelmed. And I've always been a believer where your energy goes, everything else flows. So if you're in a negative energy mindset, you're going to be negative and everything around you will seem like doom and gloom, right? Change that, everything changes. So I don't think it should be about why you can't do it. It's work out how you can do it and what you need to achieve it. And don't try and achieve it all on your own. There are people out there that can support you through the journey once you share your journey. Most people don't like sharing it because they don't want to look like idiots.
Yeah. Yeah, fair point. Do you think, and particularly in today's day and age, like, you know, I've got a couple of young kids, and one of my observations is this constant comparison. You said before, like, everyone wants to be liked. Yes, they do, but I feel like the younger generation now is always they're comparing. So there's almost a zero acceptance to be, you know what, I'm not as good as him. Maybe I should ask him for some help and I could learn. They don't even kind of accept. I'm making bold assumptions here, so that just to get your opinion on it. But it's like they are very much the self-reflection or the self-view is, I'm amazing, I'm great. Got kids and they're a bit older and stuff, but how have you seen the shift between that younger generation now versus what it was?
Social media has been really, really good for a lot of reasons, but has been equally as bad for many other reasons. And I think the fakeness of what is put out there, you know, the filters and the make-believe of what you should look like, what you should act like, you know, who you should be seen with. Like, you know, I've probably presented on stage over the years a couple of hundred, maybe more times. And I've shared the stage with some of the greatest thought leaders of our time, but never once have I used a photo with them to promote myself. Never once have I put myself in front of a car, and I've had plenty of sports cars or a house or a boat, because I'm not selling the dream of what could be that is not. It's, you've either got to want what I've got to offer you because of my own life experience or not. And unfortunately, you know, most people present themselves in a different way, and they're not being true and authentic to themselves, more importantly than anything else, to themselves. Yeah. You know, and I hear this all the time, and, you know, it was funny. I had this one guy, and I'll never forget it. You know, you just remember that one moment. I was at a meeting with someone. It was just a business meeting, and someone saw me and came running over, and it was a little bit embarrassing. And he's like, "Ralph Anania, because you look exactly the same as you do on you know, on all your socials." And it's like, what else am I supposed to look like, you know? And I went and thought about that, and I thought, you know what, you're right, because I've been to many events, I've spoken on many a stage where people have stolen my content and then gone and you know, rehashed it to use themselves. And what I am true to myself about is I only deliver what I've experienced. You know, if I haven't experienced it in my own life, I'm not going to share it, because it doesn't have the same meaning. Just because I've read a book, sure, I'll share some of what I've read and how I've implemented that into my own life, but I'll share what has been me and my journey, because that's true, and my stories and my experience, you know, with people, with business, with family. I'll share my experience, and that, I think, is what's important.
Yeah. Can I ask, like, why did you write the book?
I felt it was a time where it had to come out. It was COVID. I'd gone through a really, really bad period. So I'd been separated for a number of years. Coming into COVID, I had events booked, you know, globally to present at. And, you know, if you're in the events world, you know, when you book a venue, you've got to pay a 50% deposit. And if you don't book them, you can't go and market yourself until those venues are booked, because otherwise people don't know where they're going. So lost a lot of money during COVID. And again, it was getting out of that doom and gloom, because I could see a lot of people around me suffering. I could see what disasters were happening with Divide, you know, just in local communities, let alone family, you know. Yeah. And I just felt it was a time of need. I just felt that people needed, you know, some form of support. And it was like a way for me to take that energy and put it into something that was going to be positive and change the lives of people. And it has. I've been grateful enough that I've had people sharing, from all over the world that have read the book. And it's just so humbling when you get those messages. And, I can sit here today, 3 years later, I think it is, and the book was launched in New York. It was a pretty big launch. They've done well with it over there, and the publishers over there keep saying, "Come over, want you to do some book signings." And it's like, it's not what I wrote it for. It's like, it's not that I don't care about it. It's I don't care about the glory. I just want people to enjoy what they're reading and get something out of it.
Difference between reading and learning, and always make sure that whenever I read something, I'm going to take something from it and actually implement and act on it. So I love some of the stuff that we got in there, and I'm literally going to double down on that. Mate, as we wrap this up, how the audience that is in the Fired Up group, and that's the audience I know, right? I don't know who's watching the YouTube videos, and I don't care about downloads, subscriptions, or whatever. But for the Fired Up group, majority of those are early stage with their business, or they're in a kind of that 2-3 year period where they're like, oh shit, this is real, and we've got to spend a bunch of money, and I'm working in it all the time, and it's hard and everything else. What would be the 3 top advice points that you would give to these people about the resilience and the drive to keep going and just have that positivity to always look at a situation and find, as you said, the solution?
Reassess where you're at. Most people don't regularly reassess, because you could be on a journey. And the challenge with most startups are that they do it as a hobby, and if it's a hobby, it'll never be a job, or it'll never be a business, rather. It'll always be a job, because you're not going to achieve the results. So reassess where you're at and continually make sure that you are in line with what's happening around you. Make sure you're up to speed with the economy, with society, with what's happening today, not what was happening 2 or 3 years ago when you might have first started it. And if you need to make changes, make the changes. Seek advice of those who have been there before you. Don't wait too long, because you'll waste more time and more money, and you may miss the mark, because there's not too much out there that somebody else hasn't thought of, right? There's a lot of, ideas, but it's what is unique to you. And the quicker you get to market, the better it is. If you've got an idea and it's a great idea and 3 years have gone by, forget it. I can guarantee that there's many people that have got the same thing happening, right?
You're right, yeah.
So, understand where you're at the moment, seek the right advice from the people around you. And if it's wrong, readjust, stop, start again, learn from what you've had. Because even if you say, okay, I've got to close this down, it's not a loss. People look at it just from the financial side, but what you have actually learnt is invaluable. As long as you don't do the same thing in the next journey, but it could actually be a good thing for you. So, but out of the 3, the most important is just seek the right advice. And the right advice doesn't always come from accountants and solicitors. It comes from people that have been there and done that before you.
Yeah.
Right? Some of the greatest accountants, solicitors are not great business people. And I can't reiterate that enough. Accountants are great accountants, solicitors are great solicitors, but many an accountant and a solicitor have destroyed a deal for me because they're not business people. They're not business minded.
Yeah.
So I would reassess where you're at, seek the right advice or the right guidance or the right partnership even. There are a lot of people that will partner up with you if you've got the drive and the passion and they can add value. Don't worry about liquidating your shareholding, because if you've got 100% of nothing, it'll be 100% of nothing. If you've got 20% of something huge because you've brought in an expert, let me tell you, I'd rather go with that. And a lot of people don't, because they go, oh, I'm losing 80%, but you got 80% of nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So, seek the right person to partner or to be guided by. And don't be afraid to pull the pin if you have to. Don't worry about the embarrassment that you believe that, your friends are going to say, oh, you failed. That's their problem, not yours.
Wow. That was such a good session, and the 3 previous as well. Just to wrap up, Ralph, people want to learn more about you, learn about your coaching, speaking courses, the book. What's the best place they can go to get all that?
Just my website, ralphanania.com.
Cool.
That's it.
And we'll put a link in the bottom of these going directly there so you can go and dig into it. The book, for anyone who's kind of got value from what Ralph's been talking about, highly recommend it, because it's easy to read. You know, some of these books out there are difficult and you sort of like get to the 20th page, like same thing. They're just out the other way, but really to read. Nice summaries, easy punchy points, and action that you can actually take into it. Mate, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Catch you guys next time. If you've enjoyed this episode, then subscribe on YouTube or follow our podcast on your favorite platform. We drop a new episode every week. You'll be doing us a massive favor. If you know someone that would benefit from listening to this, then share it with them. You'll be doing them a massive favor. And if you want the tips, tools, and resources to support you on this journey, then join our exclusive Facebook community and follow our socials. You'll be doing yourself a massive favor.